Fi Fo Fum. You've got the Fat Guys at the movies, chum. How's that one?
That was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was better
off
than
the top
that's
of my
better
head.
than the last one. That was definitely better than the Christopher Walken.
There you go.
That
was just off the top of my head, and I was thinking about that as you were getting ready to press record.
Yeah.
I'm Ken.
I'm Oliver.
And we are here at Frank Theaters in Conway, South Carolina. Just watched the 10 p.m. premiere of Jack the Giant Slayer. And I will say I do not understand why they delayed it a year, because the original name of the movie was Jack the Giant Killer. It was supposed to be released in March of last year.
We don't understand why they changed it to Slayer. I don't think it would make much of a difference.
I think they just wanted to get rid of the name Killer. I don't know, but I didn't see any reason for the delay, because it was.
Well, you know how movies are. They look for the right weekend and marketing and all that. They don't want to compete with the Iron Mans of this weekend. They don't want to compete. You know what I mean? There's a lot of business.
And this one just does have the advantage this time of following Nicholas Hoult, who played Jack. Just came off of a very successful Warm Bodies,
and
which was a decent movie.
That may have been one of the reasons they said this is a good weekend right after that.
Yeah, because he was kind of a non-entity before Warm Bodies.
Well, he was a warm body, like you said. He's a warm body.
Yeah. He was on some British television show and something like that. But
so he's real British.
He's really,
That's
really,
not fake.
No, I wouldn't fake.
In the zombie movie, did he talk British or was he American?
He talked zombie.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time.
Well, you could be a British zombie. 28 days later.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, But anyway, so we watched Jack the Giant Slayer, and now we are going to tell you what we think of Jack the Giant Slayer. First of all, I'm going to tell you what this isn't. This was not Hansel and Gretel. Not by any means whatsoever. Hansel and Gretel was a 3 thumbs down stinker. This was actually a pretty well done movie. The visuals in it were spectacular. The giants were extremely well done. For a giant, I guess it was about as believable as you could do. Bryan Singer did a great job getting the visual effects and so on put together with this. The supporting cast was a big surprise to me. It had Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi for you Star Wars fans. It had Ian McShane, Blackbeard from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And it also had Stanley Tucci, who's been in everything. That was a big surprise. I did not know that any of those folks were in there, because there's really not much in any of the previews that gives you any indication that they are. And Nicholas Hoult, who's just recently had the success of Warm Bodies. All of them did a very strong rendition of their characters. Ian McShane was the king of the realm. Ewan McGregor was his #1 knight. And Stanley Tucci was the bad guy. And he does a good job being a bad guy in the movies that he plays a bad guy. And of course, this is based off Jack and the Bean Stalk. Had a few little twists with it. But all in all, it was a well done movie. Had some, like I said, spectacular visuals. When they showed the beanstalks growing, it was growing like crazy. The acting in it was all around fairly well. There wasn't really a very weak performance to say. They were all not extremely strong performances, but they were all good performances for what they had to do. But it's an enjoyable time. The only criticism specifically that I would have of it is it's 2 hours long. It probably could have been more like 1 hour and 40 minutes, because there were some places in it that kind of drug out a little bit as they were building up toward the spectacular ending when the humans fought the giants. But other than that, and then there's also a really good twist at the end. But other than that, it's a fairly good movie. I'm going to go with a 3.5 stars on this one. It's a good, solid movie and an enjoyable time with Jack the Giant Slayer.
Well, let me first start off by saying I know I'm normally the most critical of me and Ken here, and most nitpicky. But I will say I'm a big fan of the director Bryan Singer. One of my favorite movies of the 90s, The Usual Suspects. He also made one that I personally liked, didn't get a lot of good reviews at, Pupil. He also did the X-Men, first 2 X-Men movies, which were really good and well done. And we talked about Superman last week, which I liked, but you people at home didn't like it because they're rebooting it. Now, I loved it. I thought it was great. This movie here started off, I thought it was very slow starting off. You had to set the story, and I understand that. And when Ken said it could have been shorter, I think they could have cut 20, 30 minutes. I'm going to agree with them, out of that first hour of that movie. We didn't need a lot of that information and so forth. It just really dragged along. And honestly, I found myself in the chair here kind of getting drowsy that first hour. It was getting close to that. I held off, but I was getting close to that. That being said, after you get past the first hour of the movie and the Bean Stalk finally goes up in the air, it's really interesting. It is well done. Some of the CGI effects, I mean, of course it's going to look good nowadays, but some of them, there's a weird thing with CGI nowadays, and it's about textures. The texture of the giant's skin and the human skin, even though the giants were humanoids, were just, it looks, you know what I'm talking about, it looks too different, and I'm pointing to Ken, not you at home, but the textures don't match, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it does look good, and the Beanstalk looked really well and so forth. The last hour of the movie had a couple of twists that were really nice, so this is definitely worth seeing. I'm going to say it's probably kid-friendly. I don't really see there's not a lot of gore or violence or any of that. So, but it did feel a little Disney-ish on my end, and that's not a good thing for me because I get sick of all the Disney-type stuff in some scenes. But all in all, I will probably say, I'll give it about a 50% here. Give it about 2.5 stars. Had that first hour been a little bit different, for me, this would have been a lot better movie, and it would have been a better hour-and-a-half movie than it is a 2-hour movie. But I'll stick with 2.5 stars on that and try not to be too critical of it. And this is a pretty decent movie, and probably your kids will
So there you have it. Jack the Giant Slayer from Phat Guys at the Movies. And if you notice, we're looking a little different. We're closer.
Oh, yeah, we are closer, aren't we?
Yeah, we're closer. It hides the belly.
Does it?
Yeah, no. It doesn't.
Hey, I've been going to the gym lately. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I know you said that.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
It's fun. Well, you know,
it's the first time you've exercised in, what, 10, 15 years?
No, I took up bodyboarding last year. But when I tumbled onto the beach and Greenpeace came out and they started putting bales of water on me, they said, keep them wet. Also, it's hard to find a board to support all this.
Yeah. Yes.
But I did find one.
4x8 sheet of plywood.
Whatever works. Yeah. You steal a roof off a house, bam, you're in business.
Yeah, there you go. But 2.5.
2.5. 3.5. Right.
But again, an enjoyable movie.
Overall, in between this two, it's about a 3.
Yeah.
Average to about a 3, which I agree with there, because it's a 2.5, 3 borderline for me. And Bryan Singer does as well a job with this script as I think any director could have done. And I do think the acting was a little subpar on some of the actors, some of the good actors in this movie. I was a little disappointed in that, but they didn't get a lot of screen time, you know, so you can't really nitpick it too much.
Did you catch right after they got to Giant Land, whatever the name of that was?
Giant Land, I like that.
And
like an amusement park.
You saw the Ewan McGregor's character disappeared around the corner, and he quoted I was thinking
he did
Star
the Jedi
Wars,
quote.
The Jedi quote.
He said something a bad feeling about this.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
And it was in the background.
Yeah.
So, I heard that too. And I said that might be a little joke.
Yeah, I've got a bad feeling about this. And it was exactly the same thing he said to Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith.
I've got a bad feeling about this. Is in every Star Wars movie.
Yes.
It is said by Obi-Wan in 3 of the movies, and other people in the other 3.
Yeah. So I just, you know, that was kind of great. That was a good little twist there. I like that.
Yeah, and I think that was maybe a director type joke. Let's throw it in there and see if anybody picks up on it. But next week, we're going to have another movie by another big director and a big premiere.
And this is considered, this is the movie of the first part of the year. It's got everybody in it. It's got
big cast.
It's got Michelle Williams. It has
is Michelle Williams, is she big?
No, Michelle Williams is the blonde. She plays Glinda.
I know, but is she a big name? I mean,
she did. She just most recently did Marilyn Monroe and several other movies. She's well known.
Okay, we'll call her big because it's got the Mila Kunis girl.
Mila Kunis,
which
Rachel
she's kind of big, and you got Franco. Leading the cast.
Yeah, and of course we're talking about the great and powerful, or Oz the Great and Powerful.
Yeah, and if we don't get any Lollipop Kid action on this, I'm going to be mad. I'm just going to put...
We got to do
We
are
represent
the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild. And in the name of the Lollipop Guild, I can't remember the rest of the words now.
But we got to have some Lollipop Guild in this movie.
And we may even have lollipops here when we do this next
That might not be a bad idea. We'd like a gold... Maybe we can go to the bank, steal a gold brick. Hey, but this is interesting because they're doing a prequel almost 70 plus years, almost 70 years.
No, more than
after
that. The 75th anniversary of The Wizard of Oz was 2 years ago.
So 77 years after.
Actually, 3 years ago.
One of the
2009.
most revolutionary movies of its time, because it was the first movie in color.
Yeah, and every movie just about that's been made since then, almost, said there is some reference to The Wizard of Oz. One of the most famous lines in any kind of every movie is, "We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto."
It's probably one of the most influential films of all time,
Yeah.
and to do a prequel of this film is very, in my opinion, is risky.
Yeah.
Career-wise for people who were
Yeah.
involved in it. Another thing, though, they did get a good director in Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
If anybody could pull this off, it would be him or like a Burton.
Well, they
and
know.
so they got one of the two that could try it out and pull it off.
That's why I'm expecting big things with this movie, because they know they got their work cut out for them. And
This must be a heck of a story, because you know the guy who wrote The Wizard of Oz wrote 20 books about Oz.
And this is taken from the books.
Right, so this must be a heck of a story about this, and I did a little research on this
Great
writer.
and powerful Oz.
And as the books went along, he took more and more. Did you know The Wizard of Oz is a very violent book?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But as he kept writing, he took more and more violence off of it, so
Right.
that children would be more susceptible to read his stuff.
And that's where the Munchkins come.
And I don't know, do you know if this book was written before or after Oz? Wizard of Oz.
The
books.
movie Wizard of Oz is actually, the original movie is a compilation of several different stories of several different books. But this is the one where this is the prequel.
Right.
This tells how Oz came to Oz and became the wizard.
And from what we see in the preview, I guess he was a magician.
Yeah.
And he got caught up in a tornado too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these tornadoes, they might be time portals if you survive it.
Yeah. I'd say on the Fujiyama scale.
You see an F5 tornado,
F5,
maybe it'll take you to Oz, maybe you'll die.
Yeah, who knows? But we'll find out next week, because we're going to be reviewing the great and powerful Oz.
Oh, yes.
Next week, right here at Phat Guys at the Movies. I'm Ken.
I'm Oliver.
See you then.